Listen for a moment last and hear me tell my tale. How o'er the seas from English shore I was condemned to sail. The jury found me guilty, sir, and said the judge, said he, for life, Jim Jones, I sentence you across the stormy sea.
Welcome back to Newcastle Family History Society podcasts. The Newcastle Family History Society, located on Awabakal land in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia, provides support for those interested in family history. This podcast is the second in a series about the convict women who were sent to Newcastle and the Hunter Valley. In the last episode, Mel Woodford described the social and political backdrop against which women found themselves torn from their homes and families and transported to the other side of the world. In this episode, Mel talks about the Roses from the Heart Female Convict Bonnets initiative, a remarkable project to honour these women, a fitting memorial.
In 2017, following the State Family History Conference in Orange, New South Wales, Newcastle Family History Society made the decision to participate in the Roses from the Heart Memorial Bonnets initiative to complement the research being carried out on the female convicts who came to Newcastle and the Hunter Valley. In 2010, Christina Henry, an artist completing her PhD in visual and performing arts at the University of Tasmania in Hobart, began a unique endeavour which would ensure that each of the 25,566 female convicts transported from Britain and Ireland between the years of 1788 and 1853 would be remembered by a bonnet made in her honour. A bonnet made to a very simple pattern, similar in style to one worn at the time, and made by a descendant or a member of our society. A mammoth task indeed. Christina was the keynote speaker at that 2017 state conference. Her presentation reinforced the need to ensure that the female convicts who were transported to Australia were remembered in a meaningful way. Newcastle Family History Society made a commitment at that time to participate in this very worthwhile venture and to ensure that those women who came to Newcastle and the Hunter Valley were not forgotten as part of our history. As the research on these local women progressed, contact was made with descendants and other interested people, and a day was set aside to meet together in the Newcastle Family History Society rooms in Lambton's Historic Mechanics Institute to begin the enormous task at hand. This enthusiastic group continued to meet each month to cut patterns, stitch and sew, while recounting family stories and sharing information on the women whose bonnets they crafted with such love and care. In between each gathering at our rooms, much additional work was carried out in private homes and sewing rooms all around the Newcastle area and beyond. Christina's original pattern and instructions were used to cut the cream-coloured calico which was used. This information can still be found on her website at rosesfromtheheart, all one word, .tumblr, TUMBLR.com. Those involved in making the bonnets helped one another, and friendships were forged or strengthened, as those who were experienced needlewomen assisted and supported those new to the task. In very much the same way as so many of the female convicts would have done all those years ago. The plain calico bonnet with the female convict's name on one side of the brim and the name and date of the transport ship on the other side soon began to include other items of adornment. Patterned material, embroidery, and coloured ribbons could soon be seen as well. It was also discovered that lace and crocheted doilies could be used to great advantage, making unique and beautiful works of art. Not all the convict bonnets were made from calico, however. One such example is that of Janet Angus, which is white satin with white lace trims and red embroidery. Janet, from Perth in Scotland, arrived aboard the Midas in 1825, marrying James Schofield in Newcastle in November of 1828. Janet's bonnet was lovingly made by her 4 times great-granddaughter, who also wrote her story for our publication entitled They Sent Me North, Female Convicts in the Hunter. Elizabeth Fellows from Coventry, England, arrived in 1833 as a 26-year-old widow with 2 children. But sadly, only one of them came with her on the ship. Elizabeth, or Betsy as she was often called, has her story told in our publication as well. Her bonnet tribute has a stunning inset of floral pink material with green trims. A photo of her daughter in later life can be seen in the pages of our book. Dr. Christina Henry visited our area in July 2019 to spend time with those involved in the bonnet making, and was hosted for a week by one of our NFHS members. It was such a pleasure to have her here. She was also present for the extensive female convict bonnet exhibition, which took place in the Lovett Gallery of Newcastle Region Library, entitled They Sent Me North, which coincided with the launch of the Newcastle Family History Society publication of the same name on the 30th of July. The exhibition remained open to the public until mid-September, when it was dismantled and reassembled as the feature exhibition at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre for the annual Stitches and Craft Fair. Both exhibitions attracted an enormous number of visitors, many of whom were amazed to discover a side of Newcastle and the Hunter Valley history they knew nothing whatsoever about. We also discovered new and enthusiastic descendants amongst those who visited the exhibitions. Our work continues as we discover more female convicts who spent time or remained permanently in our region. We have recently added the names and details of almost 300 more women, which means that our collection of some 1,500 bonnets is shortly set to grow in number. We will continue to remember the women who became the pioneers of Newcastle and the Hunter Valley.
Thanks for listening to our podcasts. We hope you're finding them interesting. You can find some images of the bonnets on our website www.nfhs.org.au in the news link. Upcoming episodes will feature some of the women who appear in our publication They Sent Me North, and also on www.femaleconvictsofthehuntervalley.com.au. Don't want to miss out on the rest of this series? Then on your chosen podcast app, subscribe, follow us, or turn on notifications for Newcastle Family History Society podcasts.
Listen for a moment last and hear me tell my tale. How o'er the seas from